So far, we have talked about prisms, and specifically right prisms. The reason they're called right prisms is because they form a 90-degree angle from the base to the edge. Okay, so far we have talked about rectangular prisms. And the key thing is, on a prism, we always have two congruent parallel bases. However, rectangular prisms, all the sides, including the bases, were rectangles. Does anyone have a guess what this might be called? Yeah, good. Triangular prism, because the base is a triangle. Now, before there were options on which side to use as your base, right? You could use either of the pairs. Here, we only have one option. Remember, what did we say about the bases? The bases must be parallel. Okay, there's only one set of parallel sides on this, right? These two triangles. So this is a triangular prism. Anyone think they know what this would be called? Yeah, so pentagon, good. So technically it's pentagonal prism, but yeah, good job. Pentagon. All right, what about this one? Yeah, so hexagonal prism is what you'd say. Yep. So good. So all of these still prisms. Also, all of them still have parallel bases, right? Now, the nice thing about these prisms is, guess what? Even though they're different shapes, the formula does not change. Okay, so our formula is still 2b plus ph. And then for volume, it is b times h. All right, now the difference will be, in the past, when we found the area of the base, it was length times width. I don't expect you to know the area of the hexagon. I won't do that to you. Or the area of a pentagon. But we should know the area of a triangle. Does anyone remember the formula for that? Close. Wait, what did you say? Wait, so base times height is part of it. There's one more thing that we have to do to it. Divide by 2. Or how I usually say it is 1/2 base times height, which is the same as dividing by 2. So 1/2 base times height. Now, let's be careful, because this is where it gets a little confusing. You said base and height. Let's make sure we understand. The base that you're talking about is different than the base of my prism. The base of my prism is this whole side. The base of the triangle is just this, right? Meanwhile, the height of the whole prism would be this distance, right, from one base to the other. The height of my base is that. Does that make sense? So the base of the base and the height of the base are on this side. Meanwhile, the base of the prism is that whole thing, and the height of the prism is from one base to the other. So you probably want to write over here on the side, let's just do area of a triangle. If you don't remember that, to find the area of a triangle, it's going to be 1/2 base times height. Now, I chose to put the b lowercase. The reason I did that is because it's not the area of the base, right? That b stands for the base of the base, right? The one side, okay? So it does get a little confusing, but I jot that down, okay? So, all right, at the bottom here, or on the next one. So we have ourselves a triangular prism. And so right away in the name, we know what shape is our base. Triangle. It told us, okay? And not only do we have one base, we have two bases. Okay. Now, let's start off just like before. It's 2 times the area of the base. So to find the area of my base, I take 1/2. What's the base of my base? 4. Good. And what is the height of my base? 3. Good. So do you see how both 4 and 3, those are the base of my base, it's the bottom of my base, and the height of my base. So I put those. What's half of 4? Times 3? 6. And what's our label for area? Second. To the second or squared? Yep, good. Okay. Now, let's make sure we understand. 3 is the height of my base. What is the height of my prism? Not 8. It's the distance from one base to the other. Okay? So that is the height of your prism. That is the height of your base. Okay? Now, to solve this, we can start off 2b. So 2 times 6 plus. Now I need the perimeter of my base. Well, oops. Look at your base. Okay, we have one side here, which is 3. So for perimeter, we will do 3 plus, what's another side of the base? 4, yep. And then plus, look, this third side, I don't know what it is. How can we find that side? Well, look at the base. Not only is it a triangle, what type of triangle is it? Right triangle. Do you guys remember, how do you find the missing side of a right triangle? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Anyone remember what that's called? Something P. Pythagorean theorem. Yep, good. So Pythagorean theorem. So A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Which side has to be the C? The hypotenuse, which in this case is missing. Let's make sure we understand. Just because it's missing doesn't mean it's the C. But in this case, you're right. So if you're not following with us, let me just draw this triangle real quick and show you what we're talking about. Oops. And I'm bumping all kinds of buttons. Okay. So we're saying this is 3, this is 4. I want to know what x is. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals x squared. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. We get 25 equals x squared. So what would x be? 5, the square root, right? So 3 plus 4 plus 5, what does that give me for my perimeter? 12. All right, so 2 times 6 plus 12 times, don't mess this up. For the height, we need the height of the prism. Which one is that? All right, 12 times 8, correct. All right, what is 2 times 6? And what is 12 times 8? You might not have that one, remember? 96, yeah. Use a calculator if you need to. Add those together, and what do we get? All right, don't forget inches squared. It is surface area. Okay. Now let's do the volume. So for volume, area of the base, which we already know is 6, times the height of the prism, which we know is 8. 48 inches. What's different about this one? Cubed. All right. Once again, there is not an assignment today. We did one of them. We have 3 more to get through. What I'd like you guys to do now, I'm going to give you guys some time to do the second one here. Please try it. It's very similar to the one we just did. The only difference is when you solve for that missing hypotenuse, it's not going to be a perfect square. Okay, you're going to get a decimal. Okay, that's okay. When you take the square root, you're going to get a decimal. Just go for that. So everyone give letter B a try. Please give this one a try. All right, let's talk about this. So first off, we have a base over here, right? What is the area of our base? Wait, the 11 is part of our base, right? But what's our area? Yeah, okay, so half times 11 times 10. Yep, and what does that give us? 55. Okay, good. Okay, that's 55. Now, the next thing we need to do is find our perimeter. Once again, I don't know what that third side is. So I know my perimeter will be 10 plus 11 plus something. To find this, I need to set up Pythagorean theorem. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Which of those three sides, 10, 11, or x? Which one's the c? X. Good. So 10 squared plus 11 squared equals x squared. Okay. 10 squared is 100. 11 squared is 121. Now, unfortunately on this one, when we take the square root of 221, it is not a perfect square, right? What is the square root of 221? 14.8 something, but we'll round to 14.9 is fine. If you use 14.86, that's fine. Your answer will be a tiny bit different than mine, but 14.9 is fine. Okay, so we put that here for our perimeter. What do we get then for our perimeter? Yeah, so if you round it differently, 35.87, I'll get 35.9. Yep. Okay, now we have all that we need. So it's 2 times the area of the base, which we found was 55, right? Plus the perimeter is 35.9. What is the height of my prism? 15. All right, 2 times 55 is 110. This one comes out to 538.5. If you, like Angel, you're obviously going to have a tiny bit less than that, right? Because you use 0.87. That's fine. Is that what you used to? That's fine. And then when we add them, if you rounded like I did, you'll get 648.5. What did you get, Angel? 648 point like. Oh, because you rounded it then at the end. Okay. So technically, yours probably came out to like point like 3 or something, but or was it 4 or something? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the last part of this, then the volume. So what was our area of our base again? Look at what you have written down. 55. And what was the height of our prism? 15. All right, we multiply that. I'll save us a little time. 825. What's our label? Cubed. Okay, don't forget to cube it. All right. When we go to the back, take a look, and does anyone notice anything different about the base on this one? Okay, it's cut in half, and if we look at it, both of the front ones, what was true about the bases? What? 90-degree angle. They were right triangles. And as you notice, so Josh, you were kind of talking about a split in half, and there is a 90-degree angle, but that's not actually part of the triangle, right? That's showing where the height is, because the height compared to the base is always going to be 90 degrees, okay? So look at the 3 sides. What do you notice about the 3 sides of the base? They're the same. 5, 5, 5. They're equal. What do we call it when there's 3 equal sides to a triangle? Anyone remember? Equilateral. So it's an equilateral triangle. Now, for finding the base, we'll still do 1/2 times. What's the base of the base? Don't overthink it. 5. Just the bottom of the base is 5. Okay. What is the height of the base? 4.3. 14 is the height of the prism. Does that make sense? So the 14 will be used later, but for the height of the base, it's 4.3. Okay, we do 1/2 times 5 times 4.3. What do we get? All right, please put your phone on. All right, what do we get? Okay, so 10.75 Okay, next we need our perimeter. Perimeter is actually pretty easy on this one. What is our perimeter? 15. 5 plus 5 plus 5. And then, real quick, just to make sure we know, what is the height of my prism? 14. Yep. All right, so we do 2 times b, 2 times the 55. Or no, not, that was the last one. Sorry, 2 times 10.75, okay? Plus 15 times 14. That's 21.5 plus 210. Get 231.5 inches squared. All right, the volume. Let's finish this one up. What is the area of our base, we said? 10.75. What is the height of my prism? Also, I didn't shade it on this, but here's one of the bases. Here was the other base, if you wanted to shade it. All right, 10.75 times 14. What does that give us? Cool. 150.5, right? Yeah. So just be careful how you say it, because it kind of sounded like you were saying 155. Thanks, Angel. All right, once again, there is no assignment today. If we can get through this last problem, letter D, then the rest of the time is ours just to relax, okay? So did you have a question? Or no? Okay. So let's do letter D together. All right, last one. So once again, we have a triangular prism. Look at the base. What do you notice about this base? Anyone notice anything? Okay, so you're saying there's a dotted line here. We don't know what it is yet. Okay, good. So we'll need to find that to help us. What do these marks mean? Congruent, yeah. If these angles are congruent, does anyone know what that tells me about the sides? 2 of them are the same, yeah. Not all 3, but 2. So the opposite sides are congruent. What do we call it when 2 sides are the same on a triangle? Isosceles. This is an isosceles triangle. So the one, we have 5, 6. What's over here? 5. Yep. All right, now, this is kind of what you were talking about, Luis. In order to find, we need to know what that height is to solve it. Okay? Notice if we draw this height in here, what does that form? Where that height cuts it. It cuts it into 2 halves, and they're each the same, right? So I'm going to focus just on the left side here. And the reason this is important is it creates a right triangle. Now, I know this is 5. I'm trying to solve for that. What will be right here? 3. Half of 6, right? So that's 3. Now, let's be careful. We can solve for the missing side of a right triangle. We're going to use Pythagorean theorem. Which one? 3x or 5? Which one is the hypotenuse?
5.
The 5. It's not always the x, right? The 5 is what the hypotenuse is, okay? So we'll set it up. 3 squared plus x squared equals 5 squared. All right, and then hit the play button. Yep. All right. 3 squared is 9. 5 squared, 25. We subtract. What do we find x to be? 4. And can we remember, what does that 4 represent? The height of the base. Good. What is the height of the prism? 8. Okay. So if I fill that in right there. Okay. Now, we know the height of the base, so now let's solve for the area of the base. So remember, the area of the base equals 1/2 times, what's the base of my base? 6. Remember, the height and the base always have to be forming a 90-degree angle. And we just found the height of our base was 4. 1/2 times 6 times 4, what does that equal? 12. Yep. Half of 6 is 3. So 12. Let me clean that up. All right. Next, let's do our perimeter. Now, on this, what are the 3 sides of my triangle? 5, 5, and 6. Don't count the 4, right? The 4 goes through the middle of it. 5, 5, and 6. So for the perimeter, 5 plus 5 plus 6. All right, we're almost done. 2 times the area of my base, which is 12, plus 16 times the height of my prism, which is 8. And I know I kind of skipped a step or two there. I just did it for us, but we get 152. All right, we're almost done. The last part of today. The volume. What do I need to multiply to get my volume? Okay, and what is our area of our base? 12. And what is our height of our prism? All right. So you get 96. And my label? Cubed. Good. Good, Isaiah. Don't forget to cube it. All right. There's no assignment today. In summary, you guys tell me, Monday, what do you need to do? Delta. It'll be a brief video and then a few practice problems. Okay. Tuesday, what do we need to do? Quizzes. Where can we find that code? Canvas. Yep. All right. Take care of business. Those 2 assignments are going to be worth double points. So that means if you do it, it's like you did 2 assignments. It means if you don't do it, it's like you skipped 2 assignments. Okay. So please get them done.